Good morning, and my name is Laura. I'm a health coordinator at the Enclave in Las Vegas, and it's nice to see you this Monday morning. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about setting goals for the new year. Give me just a moment. I'm going to get my screen set up a little better. Here we go. Okay. First off, there's a statistic that kind of caught me by surprise. Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February? Wow. So here's the thing, we don't really have control over the outcome of a situation. We do, however, have control of our actions and habits. So instead of setting goals which focus on an outcome, for instance, you'd like to lose 15 pounds or be fluent in Spanish or get a raise, become debt free. Um, Instead, look at habits you can create that will get you there. Um, there's an amazing book on habit formation called Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin, and I suggest that be on your reading list. A lot of helpful tips. Um, so some of the popular resolutions at the beginning of the year or goals are for weight loss, one of them, one of the top ones. And you don't really have control over the end goal, but you do, again, have that control over your daily habits. So instead of focusing on, I want to lose weight, you could spend your energy creating healthier habits, such as developing the habit of eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day, or getting in the habit of walking every day after dinner, or joining a fitness class and work on the habit of going 3 times a week to that class. And this has worked well for me. At first, I spent my energy developing the habit of working out regularly. And then I spent time getting out of the habit of drinking soda daily and tried to lower my sugar intake. And I focused on drinking more water throughout the day, trying to drink 50 to 60 ounces, just measuring that and keeping my water handy and taking it with me everywhere. Currently, I'm working on eating more fruits and veggies in my diet. So by focusing on habits instead of end goals, I've been able to create some lasting change for my health, and I've been able to accomplish a goal of weight loss along the way. And just to be stronger and healthier. So if your goal is to learn something new, this strategy works well as well. So, for instance, maybe you'd love to be fluent in a foreign language, or be a better photographer, or understand how to use graphic design software. Just setting a big goal in any of those areas won't really help you get there, though. So if you want to learn something new, look for habits you can create. Get in the habit of spending your commute listening to foreign language lessons every day, or while you're working in the kitchen at home, or doing some other activity, taking a walk, and you're listening to these lessons. Purchase a course and schedule a chunk of time every Saturday to work on it. Or start a new morning routine where you have 15 minutes to practice a new skill every morning. And just start developing a new routine, a new mindset and habit. I recommend Make Over Your Mornings to help you just develop a great morning routine. It's a good resource. Another big resolution or goal that folks have is to read more during the year. Spending more time reading, it's a popular goal and a good goal. And some people get more specific and set a goal of reading one book per month or per week. But goals like that are broad and they're focusing on the outcome versus a habit. So some ideas on how you could create a habit that allows you to read more often would be to get in the habit of bringing a book with you everywhere. Or if you prefer your books in a digital format, downloading the Kindle app on your phone and reading instead of texting or scrolling through social media. Perhaps you could start going to bed earlier. Go to bed 20 minutes early every night and spend that time reading instead of watching TV or scrolling through social media or watching YouTube videos. Another recommendation would be to join a book club. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. Every time I'm on a live class or don't want any barking in the background, that of course is when a delivery arrives. I've been waiting for it for a long time and it would show up right now. My goodness. So back to reading more and some of those habits. Joining a book club is something that worked for me. It gave me that accountability to read, and it was a really enjoyable experience to just have that socialization piece of it and being able to discuss what we had been reading. And so, because last year I had set a goal of reading at least one book per month, and I did well for the first few months, and then I forgot about it. And this year I've been working on spending less time like mindlessly browsing social media when it's time to decompress and get some rest. And so in place of that, I've been developing that habit of reading in the evenings. And I think I'll be more successful in reading this year just by focusing on the habit of reading a little while each night before I go to sleep instead of staring at my phone. So the more often I set goals for my life, the more I realize that I'm most successful when I plan my actions or my habits, not the outcome. So if I can create a habit that will help me achieve something bigger, I'm more likely to get where I want to be. If you have a goal that you'd like to achieve, try instead thinking of a habit and a habit that you can create that will get you where you need to be. So, for example, if the habit you need to change is I wake up and grab my phone. And so think about what that behavior is giving you. Maybe it's giving you a feeling of connection first thing when you wake up. So a new habit you could develop would be to journal and drink tea in the morning or your coffee. Um, Another bad habit I needed to change was skipping breakfast. I didn't feel like I had time. Maybe it was that sense of control over my schedule. So a new habit is to prepare smoothies in the morning, and they're really mobile, and I can take it on the go and drink that nutritious smoothie and still um, take care of myself and feel better throughout the day and accomplish what I need to right off the bat. Um, Maybe you've got a habit of spending money on things that you don't need. And perhaps that kind of gives you a boost in mood and feels good to treat yourself. A new habit that you could form would be to put extra money aside towards perhaps a dream vacation or a longer term plan or goal, something that you've always looked forward to but never were able to set aside enough for. So, in those short term moments when you're feeling tempted to splurge on yourself to boost your mood, you can just kind of revisit that vision, that goal of a vacation, for instance, and try to set aside some money towards that, making that a habit to save towards that end goal, which will be really exciting when you get to that point and get to actually go on it. Another habit would be binge watching Netflix in the evenings after work. And that is maybe giving you relaxation and pleasure. And so a new habit that you could form that will also help you to relax and give you pleasure would be to work out, to get some exercise at home after work. Maybe just dedicate 20 or 30 minutes to that, and you're going to feel so much better, and it will help you to relax and get grounded. Maybe there's a yoga exercise routine you can develop, or just getting active, going for a nice walk after dinner. There's lots of options. Another habit that I had to change was snacking when I wasn't hungry. Maybe I was just feeling stressed or bored, and it was giving me that distraction that I needed from work or from different pressures. And so replacing that with some mindfulness activities has been really helpful for me to just instead make the choice to meditate on some of these different mindfulness and breathing activities for 5 minutes, and trying to just be more aware. Am I hungry, or am I feeling stressed or bored? And making an adjustment in that category as well. So consider your habits, which habits you'd like to change. Consider what it's giving you, and then develop a new habit to replace it that's also going to give you that feeling of connection, or boost your mood, or help you relax, or distract you. So for many years, I wasn't much of a goal setter or New Year's resolution type person. Most people who set those intentions would break them fairly soon, so I guess I figured, why bother? But that did change a few years ago, and I learned about setting SMART goals, and it really resonated with me. They're very specific and kind of habit-based, actionable not big, broad, unreachable goals that I would lose sight of quickly and then feel like I've failed right off the start at the beginning of a new year. So, but setting SMART goals is not always easy. It's difficult to get really specific and find a good starting point. Sometimes for myself, it feels like my dreams and my aspirations are just insurmountable, and so it can make that first step to goal setting a little intimidating. And maybe some of you relate to that feeling, and SMART goal setting will be a great solution for you. So I'm going to take you through the steps of setting SMART goals. Goals, they're very important in laying the path and direction of your success. And in addition, they also are going to lay a foundation for self-growth and improvement. But remember that there is a difference between goals and resolutions. So, and it seems in my experience that resolutions are usually broken and quickly. Remember at the beginning I had shared the statistic that 80% of people break their New Year's resolutions by February. So they can be broken quickly for sure. But goals are realistic and they're reviewed periodically throughout the year, and they can be modified or altered. And the intention is to make your goals attainable. And resolutions differ from that because they're sort of like promises, and they put a lot of pressure on yourself or sometimes others because they're so encompassing of many steps to achieve them. So often we're set up for failure, and then we have feelings of disappointment or inadequacy, and who wants that, However, goals, they make me feel like I can accomplish something, and it's worth a try. So when I first began setting SMART goals, I wasn't really sure how to organize them. And I'm a paper and pencil kind of girl, so I started to use a paper planner. And documenting my life on paper has been game changing for accomplishing what I need and want to do. And I carry that little planner with me. It's in my purse. It's on my desk. I reference it often, and that way I keep my mind, my goals on the top of my mind all year. And there's various planners you can shop for. One that I recommend is Day Designer Flagship Daily Planner. It's a daily planner, so there's one page per day of the year. Another popular planner for goal setters is Best Self Planner. And that one's nice because it divides the year into like easily manageable quarters. So there are some different areas you should set goals in. So different categories for goal setting: career goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, physical goals, intellectual goals, family goals, social goals. So those, I guess, 7 areas are areas that you should address and set goals in each of them. If a goal isn't set in any of these areas, your life can easily become out of balance. And I have a tendency to just focus heavily on one thing at a time. So if it's career, as an example, before I know it, my physical goals or my family goals kind of fall to the wayside, and I neglect those areas that also need my attention, which is not good. Um, so I've been able to recognize this, and I'm glad I have. And so now when I'm formulating goals for myself, I try to focus on setting goals in each of these areas so that there's balance. And to be truthful, usually at the beginning of the year, most of my goals were physical goals focused on fitness based hopes for myself. And I can see that that was imbalanced, and probably part of the reason I have lacked success at achieving them in the past. So, as an example, if you're thinking about trying organic gardening, which is something you could do and enjoy, a goal would be to receive your Master Gardener certification. And receiving that credential or certification would require that you perform specific steps, including coursework or volunteer hours, a time commitment. And as you're going through that certification program, you will be just really laying a nice, strong foundation for achieving that loftier goal of becoming good at organic gardening or getting involved in gardening. So it gives you really specific, actionable steps to process through to achieve that. At the beginning of this school year, with all of the transition to online learning and tech challenges, I was pretty intimidated and really had a bigger goal always to just become more comfortable with technology in the classroom and learn some of the different programs well. So the goal was, before the school year started, to receive my Google Educator certification. And in order to do that and achieve that, I had to go through coursework and modules and practice, and then take a proctored exam, which I did pass, and I was able to do it. And so I've become much more familiar with those different Google Suites programs, and it's helped me as an educator, and has also helped me to achieve the goal of getting more comfortable with technology and being able to use it in my classroom. And as a side bonus, now I can even use like the remote without the assistance of my teenagers, and just have a different confidence with technology that I lacked in the past. So, and then each goal you write, and yes, I think you should write your goals down, kind of going back to that planner recommendation, should include 5 main components. And you can remember these easily by using the word SMART. It's an acronym for these 5 components. So when I've been referring to making SMART goals, that's what I'm referring to. So it might take time to kind of flesh out each component, but it will help you make your goals more attainable and just thorough and specific. So each goal you write should be SMART and contain these elements. So the S in SMART is for specific. You want very specific tasks listed in there to achieve that longer range goal. SMART goals are measurable. So you need to be able to mark your progress and have that ability to um, to measure your success as you're on that pathway. The A in SMART is for attainable. Um, they need to be realistic, attainable, kind of smaller bites towards the bigger, lofty end result. They should be realistic. So the R in SMART is for realistic. And just do some reflection and be realistic about your goals. Try to keep balance in your life with your goals. And, for instance, maybe your goal, instead of I want to run a marathon, you could be more specific and break it down into I'm going to run a mile every 3 days a week, or just start measuring out and setting smaller increments towards that bigger picture. And then the T in SMART is timely. So there needs to be a time frame on it. There's certain things you're going to do each week, or 20 minutes a day of reading, or just consider the time piece of it. How much time do you need to dedicate to this task, and how frequently, so you can achieve your goals. And setting SMART goals is really just that simple. So I'm still not really sure what my goals are going to be yet for this next year, and that's okay. You don't have to have your goals ready on January 1st. But this week and next week, and as we go into January, it's just a great time to work on your goals. It's not something you should rush through, but because setting SMART goals, it's going to take time, it's going to take some self-reflection, and just brainstorming, spending some time alone in the quiet, writing down ideas and aspirations that come to mind. And just remember to make sure you set goals in all areas of your life, and try to write each goal down. And then later, when your goals are finalized, you may want to print them out on paper, hang them up on your bedroom wall or the fridge, write them into your planner at specific dates, or put them as the background on your screensaver on your computer. Just keep those out where you can access them, read them, internalize them, see them, and stick with them. So, as you are reflecting and going through that planning process for goal setting, there's some different reflection questions that you might consider. One would be, what was the biggest lesson you learned this year? Just kind of reflect on that. What you know, what you've learned, what you want to know or learn or experience, and what you kind of hope for. You might want to think back to how you felt in December of 2019, and think about how you feel differently today in December of 2020. And what goals did you set for yourself last year? Did you accomplish any of those goals? What were some of your challenges? Also, think back and consider what your biggest accomplishment was this past year. Also, think about some of the bigger challenges that you've had over this past year. And and then reflect on how you think you've grown throughout this year. What were some of your biggest interests throughout the year? Did you develop any new interests? Are you curious about something that you'd like to explore more this upcoming year of 2021? Um, Consider what helped you feel the most calm and relaxed over this past year. What activities uh, really gave you feelings of connection and boosted your mood or helped you relax and relieve pressure. Um, so spend some time and thought about that. When did you have the most fun this year? And what were some of your positive experiences? How did you help others? What stressed you out the most? How did you receive help from others over this past year? That's not easy to do, and my family, like many others, were in a position where we did have to receive help at points in time. Also, consider what was your most memorable moment from this year. What made you laugh the most? Or what habit was the most helpful and transformative for you over this past year? A lot of us have had to make changes in our careers, the way we do our work, where we do our work, the time that we're spending at home or with our loved ones. And so we've had some time to spend doing activities that maybe we have neglected or haven't been able to enjoy much in the past with such busy lifestyles and schedules where we were on the go all the time. So what habit was a unhelpful habit that you had, a bad habit that needs to change? And consider how you could replace that with a better habit that's going to give you those good feelings and help you be successful. Also, gratitude is so important. So considering what you're most grateful for at this point over the last several months and year. It's been a challenging year, but spend some time thinking about what you're grateful for. Also, reflect on the things that made you happy and brought you joy. Like, what were your favorite TV shows or movies, songs, books, artists from this year? And maybe even consider some of the most positive or influential relationships you had over this past year. And then lastly, just consider what would you say to yourself in December of last year, 2019, to help give you the motivation for this past year that we just experienced of 2020. If you could go back, what would you say to yourself to give you the motivation you needed to get through the year? And so think about that as we head into a new year with new beginnings. I know many of us are anxious to start fresh and put 2020 behind us, but there are a lot of valuable lessons, and it's important to reflect on those. And so as we go into the new year and people are setting resolutions, and there's kind of this pressure to have these big, lofty, perfect goals, I want you to focus on SMART goal making. Make it really specific and focus on your habits and the small little bites and tasks instead of such a huge big picture that's often unattainable and something that we quit on quickly. All right. I'm going to leave a feedback link in the chat, in the comments. We really appreciate your feedback, and whenever you submit one of the feedback forms for a live session that you've watched, you get entered into a drawing for a $50 gift card, and that's just a great incentive to go ahead and take a moment to fill that out. I hope you have a great holiday. It's approaching so quickly. I don't know where the time went. I don't feel prepared, but I'm going to enjoy my kids and family nonetheless. So I hope you do as well. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.